Welcome to a TGIF edition of the Jim Acosta Show. As you can see, joining me at the top of the hour right now is Texas Democratic Congressman Joaquin Castro. He's going to be talking about a lot of the news that's out there today. You can see him right there. All the comments are already starting to come in, and a little later on in the program, a little special treat. We all need this at the end of a long week. Comedian Matt Friend is going to be joining the program in about half an hour from now. Fortunately, Congressman Castro will be gone. Fortunately for him, Congressman Castro will be gone by then, before Matt Friend comes on. I think he has an impersonation of me, but not of Joaquin Castro, fortunately. But I'm calling this the Hail to the Oligarchs edition of the Jim Acosta Show. Hail to the Chief is so 2024. It's now Hail to the Oligarchs, which is reminding me it is 5 o'clock somewhere, including right here in Washington, D.C. But I do want to start talking about Shadow President Elon Musk over at the Pentagon today. Speaking of Hail to the Oligarchs, it was Elon Musk looking like a shadow president, looking like a co-president, visiting the Pentagon, meeting with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. It had been anticipated, this according to the Washington Post, they would discuss a range of defense topics, including the threat posed by China and the billionaires' work to slash the U.S. government bureaucracy. The the reason why this visit was really in the news, and Congressman, you know this, is the New York Times reported that the Pentagon was scheduled today to brief Elon Musk on the U.S. military plan for any war that might break out with China. That was according to two officials who spoke to the New York Times on Thursday. And I guess, Congressman, just to bring you into this, the question that I have is what in the world is the Trump administration doing briefing Elon Musk, or even contemplating the idea of briefing Elon Musk on a potential war with China? That doesn't sound like something that he should be involved in terms of discussions.
Yeah, I mean, just to give you a sense for how bizarre that is,
Yeah,
so I've served over the years in Congress on the Intelligence Committee, on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and on the Armed Services Committee. The number of people who would have access to those kinds of plans is such a small group of people, and they are the generals and the military folks, the intelligence folks who absolutely need to know and would be involved in the eventuality that there was an actual war with China.
yeah,
That has nothing to do with the job that Donald Trump has said Elon Musk has overseeing Doge.
yeah.
So, and he's not gone, as I understand it, hasn't gone through all the proper channels of getting clearances. So
Interesting.
it really is bizarre. And I don't know where it goes from here with
Yeah.
him.
Well, it's fascinating because Trump today said that Elon Musk would not receive a briefing on secret plans for a potential war against China. And Trump even added it was because of his substantial conflicts of interest with Beijing. It seems to me that even Trump figured out after he caught wind of this. Oh yeah, we can't brief Elon Musk on a possible war or what that might look like with China. But it does raise this issue of what a lot of folks consider to be kind of an oligarchy taking hold in this country, and Elon Musk being the oligarch of all oligarchs, the mother of all oligarchs here. And I'm just curious what your take is on all of that. Why should Elon Musk have access to this kind of information? Why should he be? I mean, he was received over at the Pentagon like the commander in chief. It's just bizarre to see that kind of sight unfold.
Well, I mean, I think what you see, Jim, is Trump appointed a lot of people, not all of them, but a lot of them who are either billionaires
Yeah,
to top positions, including cabinet positions, or they're very wealthy, even if they're not billionaires. And they're very inexperienced in the things that he appointed them to. So it's
yeah,
really as if money became a stand-in for experience and expertise in the Trump administration. There's also a big part of me that thinks that Donald Trump, unlike the first term, where even though he went golfing and all that, he was still engaged in his work. There's a big part of me that really thinks that he's much lazier now in the second term and doesn't
right.
have the same ambition to actually go through the micromanagement of governing. And so he's let these guys who've got all these conflicts of interest, these deep financial interests in what's going on in the world and in the country,
Yeah.
basically run amok. And I think that's what we're seeing with Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's almost like he's decided to delegate the presidency to Elon Musk,
Sure.
outsource the presidency to Elon Musk. And there's also this bizarre thing going on where the people in the administration, including the president, and apparently now the commerce secretary, feel that they have to take it upon themselves to prop up Tesla's stock. The commerce secretary, this is according to USA Today, a top ally and donor to President Donald Trump, used a primetime appearance Wednesday to defend his fellow billionaire Elon Musk. And this is what Lutnick said to Fox News. We're talking about Fox News, of course. I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla, the secretary said. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again. He sounds like Jim Cramer. Mad. This is like Mad Money with Howard Lutnick or something. Is this a show on
Well, I mean,
CNBC or is yeah
he's speaking. I mean, and also, I mean, you compare that to the comments. I think he made the comments about Social Security and if somebody missed their check and so forth.
yeah?
But I mean,
Oh, I
these
got that one
guys,
here too. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, you think about it. They're trying to protect a billionaire's business and make sure that he can be even wealthier and that his stock price doesn't go down from 200 and something dollars a share to I don't know 100 and something dollars a share. And at the same time, they're not willing to protect is somebody's $700 a month social security check. it's
yeah.
it's absolutely crazy how out of touch these folks are, and these are the guys that are running the country right now.
Well, I mean, you mentioned, I mean, what Lutnick said. He said, and a lot of people were picking up this clip this afternoon. He was doing an interview with somebody somewhere. And I mean, I've never seen a commerce secretary on TV this much. I will just say that. I'll put that out there as well. But apparently, Lutnick said to some interviewer earlier today, he said, let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother in law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd just think that's something I messed up. Okay, here's
Unbelievable.
my thought on all that. One thing we should note: Fortune says Howard Lutnick has a net worth of $1.5 billion. So maybe not the same category as Elon Musk, but not too shabby. I mean, it says a couple of things. One is just incredible tone deafness there, but also it concerns me a little bit, and it probably should concern a lot of Americans out there that he would be so blasé about Social Security. Elon
Yeah,
Musk has
yeah.
denigrated Social Security. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just so out of touch about how millions and millions, tens of millions of Americans are living. My grandmother, as she worked as a maid, a babysitter, and a cook, as she used to say, a big part of her childhood and almost all her adulthood till she no longer could. And at the end of her life, she never owned a house, never owned a car, didn't even have a bank account. She would get her Social Security check, about $335 a month, every month and go cash it at this store, the Centennial store.
Hmm.
And that's basically what she used to live on. And there are so many people in our country, especially in districts like mine, that are still living that way. And
Of
so for
course,
this
yeah,
guy to say, "Oh well, if you miss your check, it doesn't come 1 month. So what?" That is to me when I watched that clip, his words were emblematic of the kind of administration Donald Trump is running
yeah.
today.
Well, and maybe Howard Lutnick's mother-in-law, I don't want to speak out of school here, maybe she feels okay because her son-in-law is a billionaire, you know.
Yeah,
So maybe she's not freaked out about the Social Security check because I don't know, maybe he could take her out to the Palm and everything would be just fine. Speaking of all the tone deafness and the political fallout from now, what about these town halls? Congressman, last night, Bernie Sanders and AOC had a town hall in Las Vegas. They had a big crowd. Bernie's calling it the Fighting Oligarchy Tour, and the crowd was pretty fired up. AOC said this isn't just about Republicans. We need a Democratic Party that fights harder for us too. I know you feel the same way. You're
yeah.
frustrated too.
Yeah, no, and that's why,
Yeah.
we started with a telephone town hall. At one point, we had 11,000 people just from my
Wow.
congressional district on the line. And then I did a few weeks later an in-person town hall. We had about 1,000 people that showed up. And she's right. I mean, people want us to stand up, to fight back, to really to speak up for them and to do something to stop these harmful, dangerous policies. And really what people are watching in real time is Donald Trump take the world like a snow globe and turn it upside down and harm so many people in the process right now.
Yeah. And I guess what's your view on this? I mean, do you think the party is being aggressive enough with Donald Trump? What more could be done? When you're in the minority, even by 2 seats, it's tough because they do seem to be pretty much in lockstep in the Republican side over in the House, and in the Senate there is a slight majority there. What I mean, it just seems like right now you're in a mobilization
Yeah.
stage.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
feel like I think people are right. I think it took us a good month really to deal with the pace that with which Trump was doing everything,
yeah,
executing Project 2025. And really, I mean, as you saw, every day there's two or three fires, and they're doing it
yeah,
on purpose. And so to organize and message back, but also to support the litigation that's going on in court, some of which fortunately has been successful in blocking, just take one example, him trying to do away with birthright citizenship, which
yeah,
is foundational to this country. So being able to block a lot of things in court. And then on the House side, at least, as House Democrats, we voted no on that continuing resolution. We only had one person who voted yes. Otherwise, we were almost unanimous in voting no.
mm,
So I feel like things have really come together from the House of Representatives, the Democrats, um, and I know that the Senate also obviously they're working hard. I disagree with Senator Schumer's decision on letting that thing go through, but I also think that the public is speaking up now. That
yeah.
they want to make sure that we're fighting at every chance, every that we're standing up to all of these bad things.
Yeah, I mean, just yesterday, Trump put out an executive order, which was fairly toothless, that he wants the secretary there to shut down the Department of Education. That's obviously something Congress would do, but he can start to monkey around with the inner workings of the department. I mean, that is something he can do. And today he said that the Small Business Administration, instead of the Department of Education, would handle the country's federal student loan portfolio. This is what CNBC is reporting. I mean, and Elon Musk, speaking of Elon Musk, put out a meme today of Trump standing over the grave of the Department of Education. And oh, by the way, he misspelled department, or somebody misspelled department in the meme that he posted. So, I mean, the irony there is pretty thick. Um, I, are you concerned about what's happening with the Department of Education? I mean, could
Oh
it get to
yeah.
a point where it could just be a point of no return? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think remember, Jim, like if we step back,
Yeah,
what America has done successfully over the years, I think better than any other country, is created what I call an infrastructure of opportunity, including the ability to get a good education, to go on to college or go on to a vocational school, into your
yeah,
career, and pursue your dreams. So what they're doing is they're dismantling that infrastructure of opportunity for so many people, and
yeah.
it's absolutely it's something that's going to damage us not only in the next few years, but this is a thing that's going to damage us in the long term. And
Mhm.
I would ask Elon Musk if he thinks it's a joke that the U.S. Department of Education serves special education students, make sure they get the services and the schooling they need, students with disabilities, that it makes sure that civil rights laws are enforced in our schools so that people are not discriminated against,
Yeah,
that it does all of these important things for schools that are known as Title One schools. That's for folks who are in low income areas. And those aren't just urban areas like the area that I represent. It's also a lot of rural areas throughout the
that's
country.
right.
Mean, so these things, I mean, yeah, you see kind of a meme and we laugh at them on social media, but it's no joke the work that the department does. And without the billions and billions of dollars that they send to places like Texas and other states, there are a lot of students, including a lot of vulnerable students, who are not going to get the education and the schooling that they need to succeed because of this decision that Donald Trump and Elon Musk have now made.
Yeah, and I mean, I was talking about this with Randy Weingarten yesterday, the head of the American Federation of Teachers, and she and I were both pointing out. I mean, if you look at the top states that have the largest share of receiving funding from the federal government for K through 12 education, it's Mississippi, it's Montana, it's Kentucky, it's Alaska, it's a lot of red states, it's a lot of MAGA states, and so you
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
the people have done this to themselves. I mean, and Trump was out there on the campaign trail saying he wanted to gut the Department of Education to get rid of it. And do folks not look at these kinds of numbers? I guess we're looking at them now, I suppose.
Yeah, no. No, you're right. I mean, look, as a
Yeah,
country, we can't say that we were warned about a lot of this stuff.
yeah,
Um, and and they're executing on it now because two things: Donald Trump doesn't have to stand for reelection. I also don't think, Jim, that he cares. I don't think he and Elon Musk and Stephen Miller and these guys, I don't think they give a shit what happens to the Republican Party after he's out of office. I really don't think they care whether
good point.
Republicans control Congress, whether there's a Republican president in 2029, unless it's him because he throws away the Constitution. I think they're just going after this radical transformation. They're trying to enrich these billionaires who he has formed as part of an oligarchy. He's trying to enrich himself and his family, and that's about it.
Yeah. No, and I mean, you're right about not giving a shit. I mean, I think that, they've gotten to a point, and Donald Trump has gotten to a point where he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go for broke here." I beat
Yeah.
all the odds. I got back in there. I'm going to do this campaign of revenge and retribution, and Project 2025, and to hell with everybody. Who cares? And if the Republicans don't, catch wind of this in time and come to their senses and try to slow him down, I suppose he may well take him or take all of them down with him. I wanted to ask you about immigration because there's been this battle going on between Trump and Judge Boasberg over the Venezuelan migrants that were taken down to El Salvador. Today, according to the New York Times, the federal judge handling the case expressed skepticism about the Trump administration using this policy, using this Alien Enemies Act, even though we're not in the middle of a war, to deport these Venezuelan immigrants. What have been your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, they defied a court order. The court ordered
Yeah,
them to take these folks, bring these folks back to the United States while they were in midair. That there should be due process for these people. And when you first hear the story, you read the story, you hear, oh, they say it's all these people that are criminal gang members, and there aren't a lot of people when they hear that are automatically sympathetic to the people on that plane that are being taken to
yeah,
El Salvador. But when you step back and think about the consequences of a president ignoring a judicial order,
right.
and you start to think how it may affect not only those guys there, and by the way, they never even said what those folks had, what crimes they had committed or what wrong they had done to not give them some due process, but that it would not only affect them, but that it will start to affect more of us as Americans and our own fundamental constitutional rights. Because
Yeah,
he's not going to stop there. He's not going to just, stop with ignoring things that affect, folks that are here that are undocumented.
yeah,
He's going to slowly start to move into other constitutional rights that affect all Americans.
yeah. I mean, and we should note it's been reported that the lawyers for some of these immigrants have said no, they were not in a gang.
Right.
They had tattoos that looked like gang members. I think one of the immigrants had a tattoo that was an homage to his favorite soccer team or something like that. And so, of course, it sounds like what they did was they racially profiled, they
Right.
gang profiled, and they said, oh, well, they look Hispanic, they've got some tattoos. Let's deport them. Let's put them on a plane to El Salvador. Meanwhile, I mean, we should know Pete Hegseth has a bunch of tattoos as well that are sinister looking, and he's the Secretary of Defense, but we'll put that to the side. Um, how much of this is just flat out racism?
From Trump and those guys, I
Yeah,
mean, a good bit of it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's racial profiling. That's why not only have undocumented people been affected, but also legal permanent residents have been affected. U.S. citizens have even been affected by it.
yeah,
And again, if it continues, I think he's just going to get worse and worse. And
yeah,
that's what we're risking. I mean, look, if you judge somebody just by the tattoos that they've got, literally, like half of San Antonio, you would round up or
yeah,
profile, and want to get them out of here. I mean, you've got
yeah.
so, but that's where we are. That's what they're doing. There's no thought that goes into it. There's no verification. There's no due process. They're just pulling these people and just get out of here. And then they're not even sending them to their home country. They're sending them to El Salvador
Yeah, what's that all
with
about? Is that even legal?
with yeah, I mean, that's out there as kind of this mercenary offering to be the world's jail, and Yeah, I mean, just sending them to a hellhole with no process at all, like no charge and nothing.
Yeah, and apparently Trump said today, or he put it on Truth Social, that the people who are vandalizing Teslas may end up in that El Salvador prison too. So I mean, it's another day that ends in Y. But Congressman, I did want to ask you about this because I know you and I've talked about this. What the Pentagon has been doing with the erasing of history, taking down these websites or articles on websites that pertain to veterans and people who have obviously passed away a long, long time ago. People like Jackie Robinson, the Navajo Code Talkers, the Tuskegee Airmen, all in this, all in the name of this DEI purge, this quote unquote DEI purge that Pete Hegseth has been trying to do over at the Pentagon. It has been so sloppily handled that people are just fired up. And I just wonder what you think about this. I mean, Colin Powell is another one of them. I was talking about that earlier in the week. I mean, it's just an outrage, and it just goes to show you, like the Venezuelan migrants, they're just it's a shotgun flamethrower approach to all of this that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and it's a real slap in the face to so many of our veterans
Yeah.
and our communities because literally every community and group of people in this country, women, Latinos, African Americans, Asian Americans, Native Americans, I mean, everybody, um, people from all communities have given their lives for this country in
Yeah.
different wars and in service throughout time, throughout the history of the country. And when I first started hearing those stories, I was one of the folks that led the effort to get Fort Hood renamed for General Cavazos. There's
Mm.
of all the Latino Americans that have served over time,
Right.
there's only one base in the United States named for this Latino general, which Hegseth is looking at perhaps changing back now. But I thought about in my district, there is a group of veterans from Edgewood High School who graduated in 1968, and the Edgewood veterans honor those their brethren who died in the Vietnam War. And every Memorial Day they have a ceremony, and they have a large crowd that comes out to remember these folks, to honor the service of those who served, but most of all to remember those who passed.
Yeah.
And so many folks volunteered or got drafted back then to go to Vietnam, and to think that the contributions of those people or folks like them would be erased, literally erased and whitewashed because Donald Trump considers them per se unqualified is just offensive. It really is
Yeah.
a slap in the face. And everybody that I've talked to about it since it broke, that news broke, folks have been so angry that that people's contributions and their service
Right.
would be erased like that.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie Robinson, I mean, the Pentagon had to reverse course. They put out a statement saying, of course, we love Jackie Robinson and all this other stuff. And, it's just laughable because, I mean, one of the things that I've been thinking about is I remember I was there when Donald Trump said after Charlottesville, there were very fine people on both sides. And, the reason why that he got fired up over this, or he claimed to get fired up over that, was because they were trying to remove a statue of Robert E. Lee. And his take at the time was, well, we shouldn't be erasing history. We shouldn't be taking down statues. But if it's minority people, if it's Black, Latino, Native American, Asian people who have made contributions to American society, fought and died in wars, or served their country, and then went on to do remarkable things like Jackie Robinson, it's okay to just erase that. I mean, has anybody in the White House press corps asked the president about this? I mean, this is just one of those things where it just goes to show you the
Well,
hypocrisy and the inconsistency is maddening.
well, no, and absolutely, and already, by the way, if you look at history textbooks that are used in public schools, for example,
Mm.
throughout the country, a lot of this history is already missing. It's
Yeah,
already not even being told and
you're right.
shared.
You're right.
And so now the shreds of it that are out there uh, are being erased by Donald Trump and Elon Musk and this whole cabal of people, and it's
Yeah.
an incredible shame. And and really, what Donald Trump is trying to do is to set this standard where if you're African American, if you're Latino, if you're a woman,
Yeah.
if you're gay, that you're just automatically, because of who you are, your skin color or your identity, that you're unqualified. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what your experience is, what your credentials are, what your resume says. You're just, because of who you are, you're
Yeah.
unqualified. And that's going to have a profound effect, not just on erasing history and on who holds public jobs, who's working at the Pentagon or the Department of Health and Human Services, but also, Jim, it's going to affect the private sector. When
Yeah.
people from these groups start applying for jobs at
Right.
accounting firms, at marketing firms, at law firms, whatever, I'm telling you, you're going to start to feel it, right?
Yeah.
It was, in some industries, it was already tough to break in, right?
That's right.
But you're going to feel it even more because of what this guy is doing.
There's no question about that. And what they're trying to say is if you are Black, Latino, Asian, if you're of a minority race, if you're gay, lesbian, any kind of background that differs from a white Christian male, you got that job because of DEI. That's what
Right.
they're trying to say. They're trying to say any accomplishment that you have is DEI. And that is outright just bullshit. I mean, it is just unbelievable bullshit. And and you're absolutely right that the lingering effect of all of this may be on corporate America, which Stephen Miller was doing. He was attacking DEI when Trump was out of office, when he was just a disgraced ex-president. And so, of course, they're going to be leaning on this in both the public and the private sector. And it's got to be stopped. It's outrageous.
No, it absolutely is. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is a kind of cancer that is growing um, in our society because he started it.
Yeah. And we should note, Joaquin, you didn't you go to a place called Stanford, or where did you go again?
Many years ago,
It's
yes,
a
in the
pretty good
1990s.
school. Did
Yeah,
you study to get in there? What did you do? Did you
I did.
how'd you
I
do that?
worked hard when I was there. I'd never really been away from home when I went. My brother and I, we showed up. My dad bought us the cheapest plane ticket he could afford,
Wow.
and showed up with 3 bags each, and then came back home for a year. And then I'd never been east of Houston, Texas, when I left for Boston, Massachusetts, to go to Harvard Law School. And
Wow.
I got better at packing, so I had 2 bags this time, and showed up for the first time at Logan Airport in 1997 and was there for 3 years, and then with a lot of brilliant and bright people. But I learned, Jim, one last thing, because I know you've got
Yeah.
Matt coming on. I realized when I was there, I was sitting in class at Harvard Law School, and I realized these are some of the brightest and smartest people from all over the world. I realized that they were just like the people that I sat in class with at
Yep.
Jefferson High School on the west side of San Antonio, and that if you had put some of my classmates from Jefferson in that classroom with us, they would have done just as well as I did, or just as well as the people that
Yeah.
were in that room at Harvard Law School.
Yeah. That's right. You got a brother. I think his name is Julian. He did okay too. He's done some decent
Yeah,
stuff, right?
he's not as smart as I am, but
He's
yes,
not.
he's much.
I know you point that all. If only he could keep up with you, then we'd have something there. But all right, well, Congressman Joaquin Castro, I noticed you were trying to wrap up the interview as we were talking about you and your background. That's how humble you are, and I just want folks to know out there. I know Joaquin Castro fairly well off, when we're off camera and so on. And you're very humble, and it's very nice of you to be that way. But you should be proud of what you've accomplished in this country, and I think a lot of Latino people in this country look up to you and your brother as something that they would like to be. So, hats off to you.
Good to be with you, Jim.
All right, good to see you. Thanks, Congressman. Good to see you. All right. Am I allowed to say nice things about a congressman? Am I allowed to say, as a Latino, Um, I take that. I tend to take a little pride in that, in seeing somebody who was of Hispanic descent, Latino descent, doing well, and he has done well. All right, and the congressman did the tease for me. He did the segue for me. Everybody, it's been a rough week. It's been a rough couple of months. I mean, maybe for yours truly as well. I don't know. Has it been rough or has it been great? It's been a little both. I don't know if you saw the news, but the show's been doing well. My Substack's doing pretty okay. We're getting close to 300,000 subscribers, and earlier this week I had my first paid subscriber event where the paid subscribers really appreciate all of you, everybody who's watching, paid, free, mooching off your friend's password, whatever you're doing. Uh, it feels great. And I'm just so tickled by the whole experience and how well this has gone so far. And my thanks to Congressman Joaquin Castro. He was terrific there. All right, time to bring in. Oh boy, you know what? I didn't even think. Let's see here. Probably should have asked Matt what his login is, because how am I going to find him? Is that him right there? Let's see. Oh boy. No, it's not Mary Friend. It's Matt Friend. Let's see here. We're going to try to bring in Matt Friend, the man, the myth, the legend. How is he that he's that young and he's already this accomplished? That's one thing I want to know. He's been doing great. He's on the comedy circuit. He's coming to Washington D.C. Let's see. Is it this Matt Friend? I probably need to text him and find out what his. It's Friday, folks. As I said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see, Matt Friend. Let's see. Is he on? Oh, he's not on yet. Let's see here. Hang on. Stand by, everybody. What is your handle for Substack? It's Acosta. See, I'm texting him as we speak to, to make sure I get him on there. And the beautiful thing about the show is that the number of people who are watching is going up as I'm doing this. Let's see here. Hopefully he is coming on here shortly. The Matt Friend. Okay, so whoever just regular Matt Friend is out there, I have totally screwed the pooch here. You're behind the scenes. You're in the inner workings of the gym. Oh, it's the Matt Friend that has the really cute picture of him there. He just looks so nice. Such a handsome young man. Works so hard, telling his jokes, doing his impersonations. Has anybody seen Matt? I'm sure you've seen Matt. Of course you've seen Matt. He does this impersonation of, I can't remember what's the guy's name. Oh yeah, the president of the United States. All right, Matt's gonna, and I think he's popping up now. There's the magical box, and there he is. Oh my, it's fitting. We
Jim, it's thrilling to be with you. This is Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell. This is the only way I can begin the show with one of America's finest, well, not African American journalists, but a regular American. Okay, I'm sorry, Jim. How are you? Good to
I'm
see you,
doing
man.
great. Good to see you, buddy. When you were
Oh my
doing
God,
the
you're the best.
You are the best. When you were doing the Mitch McConnell freeze thing, I was like, is it the Wi-Fi? No, it's a Mitch McConnell impersonation.
It's not the Wi-Fi. It's just Mitch McConnell. Yeah, it's so good to see you.
It's great to see
Congratulations
you.
on the new show. It's deserved. I'm glad everybody's following you. And I actually told you. I remember we were sitting months ago, and I said this is kind of the way of the future, and you're going to do a great
It is.
job. And now here we are.
And now here we are. It's
Yeah,
going well, and I have to handle the equipment, which is never a good idea.
yeah,
And I realized as I got into this, I said, "Oh yeah, I didn't ask Matt how the hell am I going to find him?" But here
yeah.
we are. That's okay. It all worked out.
It
That's
did.
why I
It
have the
did.
second phone.
You'd think the 26-year-old would be the one more easier to access the technology, but I was just waiting.
You were just waiting and just sort of like, hoping and praying that I would come to you as soon as possible. It
I
was like
was
you were
hoping
waiting.
and praying, Jim. I was hoping and praying. I was. I was.
Um, how have you been? So you're on the road. I see all these tour dates. You're coming to DC in May,
Yeah.
which is exciting.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. I've been on the road doing an hour of stand up. A lot of people know me from my impressions. A lot of people know that I call Jim just a terrible, nasty guy, one of the worst people I've ever seen, just a horrible guy. But of course, that was Trump saying that. But
That
yeah,
was
doing
Trump.
an hour of stand up on the road. When I come to DC, hopefully we can properly film and reenact that
Yes,
moment of
we
Trump going crazy on you. Maybe we can reenact that properly in the show.
we
So
really should.
yourself,
No, there's no question about it. That will happen. Just put that down. It's going to happen.
yeah,
Maybe we'll do a live show. We'll do a live Substack. Can we do that, or is that a
I think it'd be
violation of
so fun.
some?
We got to do it. We have, it'd be really fun.
All right, so let's talk about some news
Yeah,
because I don't know
it's
if you saw
insane.
this. Trump still wants Canada to be the 51st state. It's been a while
Governor
since
Trudeau, right?
Governor Trudeau. What the fuck is going on with the 51st state? You're not
I don't
Canadian, are
know.
you?
I mean, I honestly, I don't know if he really wants to do this stuff or if it's just like the inner TV person in him who's just looking at buzzy topics to get us all freaking out and talk about it on each other's Substacks. Because like I just did a weekend of shows in
Yeah.
Naples, Florida, the most red crowd I've had,
Mm.
and basically I said you can't get mad at me for doing my impression of Trump because all I'm doing is repeating exactly what he says. Like he's saying
That's
the craziest shit. We're going to make Canada the 51st state. We're going to ban transgender mice. There's men punching women in the face in volleyball. It's a disaster. Mike Johnson is probably a lesbian. I don't know. I just made that up. But okay, by the way, I'm a comedian, everybody.
uh,
So kudos to Jim for
d-
letting me do this. But
dude.
yes, no,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I don't know what the deal with the Canada thing is. It's like every day it just gets even crazier.
Yeah, I know. And it's I've been comparing him lately, and this may be a dated reference to the old See and Say. Remember the circular plastic thing, and you'd pull the string, and the thing would spin
Yeah.
around, and it would be this is a
Well, I
duck,
don't
this is a
remember it,
cow.
Jim, but I know what you're
I know. Well,
talking about. Yeah.
you were born with like I don't know a PlayStation in your crib, but
Yeah.
no, but I mean, it just seems like you pull the string. Canada's the 51st state.
It's unbelievable.
You pull the string. He says some other crazy cockamamie bullshit. I mean, that's
It's
basically
unbelievable.
who he is
And,
right
and
now.
and then you have Ted Cruz who's staring at a Tesla saying, "By golly, that is the coolest dang thing I've ever seen in my life." By the way, amazing image. Ted Cruz posts to his social media, "How cool is this Tesla, the Cybertruck?" And the funny part about the picture is that even the Cybertruck is trying not to get close to Ted Cruz. Like it's at a
Oh,
distance
it's
from
true.
and but it's crazy. Like Conor McGregor is at the White House.
Yeah, what is that?
I'm convinced that Trump just wants to add three sides to the Pentagon so McGregor can fight in it.
There you go.
I feel like so.
I think that's exactly what's going. And what about Elon Musk? Is there any kind of an Elon Musk impersonation in the works? Are we
I mean,
workshopping?
if I do that, I will never be able to have sex again. So I'm gonna keep working on that
Oh
because
my God.
my sex appeal gets greatly lost. I've been working my Hegseth, my Tucker,
Your
uh,
Hegseth. Ooh,
yeah, my
Hegseth.
just slick the just slick the hair
Slick the
back.
hair.
My JD Vance like let me just my Mima my Peepaw. They all agree they love Jim Acosta's Substack. They really do. And I would do more JD, but the thing is I don't have enough eyeliner in my bathroom. Yeah, I mean
Oh,
he's into beauty. He should do like a makeup tutorial on YouTube, I think.
it's true. I don't know. I mean, JD, he's like on a quest to be relevant. I think that's what it is with him. He's like he knows Elon Musk is basically the co-president.
Something's going on. Yeah, well, it's funny, like, because the Broligarchy at Trump's inauguration, he had
Yeah.
like every oligarch. You had Musk, you had Bezos, you had Zuckerberg staring at Bezos, his wife's breasts, or as I call them, her Instagram reels. And
Oh, oh.
and I'm thinking, I'm just happy that one tech CEO was not there. Noticeably absent was Bill Gates, because I do this in my stand-up, but I feel like Bill Gates sounds like Kermit the Frog, and it's very distracting.
It is
Like
very distracting.
Bill Gates is always going to break out into Rainbow Connection. He's like, "Well, Jim, it's really exciting to be on your Substack. I've been researching a lot about different vaccination options, and it's really just wondering why are there so many people without vaccines? What's on the other?" It's like it just comes out of nowhere. I don't know. It's frightening.
Someday we'll find it, the
Yeah,
rainbow connection. Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was brilliant. That was amazing. You brought us a little Mitch McConnell
I
earlier,
did. I did. That's true.
and he's, there are the glasses.
That's true, Jim. What's the question?
The question is, uh, what's the deal with the glasses? I mean, I think we need to know what the deal with the glasses.
Well, listen, let me just begin by saying what a real privilege it is to be dipping my toes into this new medium. I've always loved speaking with Jim Acosta, a reporter who cares about all of it.
And he's frozen. Folks, that is not an unstable
So yes,
internet connection.
he's been freezing. By the way, I talk about this in my stand-up. Like, I do think we have a problem in our Congress, and that is that I feel like our government is too old. And I'm fascinated by the fact that there's a minimum age to run for president, but there's no maximum. And it's not
Yeah,
ageist. It's just a fact. Like there are literally people dying on the job. And like there's just no way to get them out. And I observe like you can tell how old Congress really is whenever they invite a young technology executive or CEO to come in and testify. And it just looks like their chance to get tech support. Like you have
it's
like
true.
82-year-old Senator Chuck Grassley from Iowa interviewing the CEO of TikTok like he's at the Genius Bar. He's like, I
Yeah.
understand that China is stealing our data, but how do I turn the brightness up on my iPhone? I mean, it's like, what's happening right now? This is not
What's the
the
deal with the
Genius Bar.
circle thing? The circle thing keeps going and it's going in circles.
Yeah, well,
What's
who is
happening?
Alexa and why does she keep talking? It's just crazy. Yeah, term limits are probably necessary. What do you think about
Yeah.
the Steve Bannon uh, statement that Trump is going to seek a third term? You think that's going to happen?
I will tell you this. Listen, I think Steve Bannon is a little jealous that he's not the Elon Musk in all of this right now. So he's starting to stir up some shit. But at the same time, when Steve Bannon is saying things like that, it's coming from somewhere. And I think
Yeah.
Trump absolutely wants to run for a third term, which means that Matt, you're going to be doing a Trump impersonation until like the year 2040.
Well,
I hope
it could be Don Jr., Jim. It could be Don Jr.
it
Yeah, I
could
mean,
be
it's
Don
like
Jr.
it's
Yeah,
unbelievable what's going on. Yeah, now Tim Walz is on like Newsom's podcast. I
I
mean,
saw that.
I don't know what Newsom is doing with his. He's like moving his hands. He's on like something is
Yeah,
going on.
what's
I don't know what's happening.
the
And
Newsom
Tim
thing? He kind of has like this
Well,
1940s
well,
gangster
Walls
voice.
and Newsom both need to just probably put handcuffs on and just stop moving their hands so much. Like they both have this hand problem. Not sure what's going on there,
It's true.
but yeah,
Uh,
in my show though, I kind of talk about all this stuff. So I hope if everybody's in DC that they get tickets and they come on
But
and you'll be
one thing
there.
we didn't talk about is Bernie Sanders. Bernie had a town hall last night with AOC.
Yeah.
That was fiery stuff.
Yeah, well, my worry about Bernie was that if he ever does run for president again, that Trump's insult will be too accurate. Like he'll be like, "This guy looks like he's having a heart attack," and then Bernie's going to be like, "Oh, that's because I actually am having a heart attack right now." I don't know why Bernie always looks like he's conducting a very tiny Jewish orchestra with his hands all the time. Yeah, Bernie. Yeah, interesting. I know. I will say, like, it's an interesting moment because again, it just feels like the Democratic Party is just so
Well,
clobbered.
and when you say Trump might run for a third term, I mean my answer to that is Barack Obama. If Barack,
That's true. Thank you. Now let me just say, on behalf of Michelle, Sasha, and Malia, Jim Acosta is not only one of the finest journalists that we've ever seen, but the guy is damn good looking too. And
well,
George Clooney,
hey.
ditch the good night, good luck. Let's go to the journalists of the present and let's get the Acosta show on Broadway. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And
Yeah.
you'd be the closing act. I mean, that's how we would have to do it. We'd have to say, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Friend can bring the house
Yeah, I
down.
think I would be. Yeah, no, but isn't it weird, Jim? Like we met a few years ago, and it'll be interesting to see how the political landscape takes shape in about a year or a year and a half. I mean, as because the election's going to start again in like a year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I guess that if we do slip into some kind of dystopian oligarchy or king's monarchical situation where Trump is the king and he's just never, you would be set. I mean, you could just like, you could, I mean, do we have any idea what he thinks of your impersonation, which is the best? It is the best Trump impersonation out
I
there right now.
don't know. I have
And he
no
wants to
idea.
be at
I
the
mean,
Kennedy Center. So, maybe you could be at the Kennedy
yeah,
Center.
I mean, we all know that I would say he doesn't like to be made fun of that much, right? But I
It's
mean, the funny
true.
thing is,
It's
again, like
true.
I'm just repeating what he's saying. Like I performed at the Correspondents' Dinner earlier this year, last year, and just dabbing. And I got in trouble because I made these jokes and I said,
That's right.
I am killing this dinner harder than Christy Nome kills the puppies. I'm on fire like the guy outside the courthouse. And all that was repeating news headlines. Like, I'm sorry that the news is so outrageous that a comedian basically repeating it is such a controversy.
No, it's true, and I mean, why they're even bothering having a correspondence dinner this time around to me is beyond me. Like, if Trump is saying the Associated Press, screw you, you're out of here. What he's telling the press corps, we're going to decide who comes into the Oval Office. I mean, I'm sure you saw this that Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend was asking Zelensky questions about why he wasn't wearing a suit. when Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend is in the Oval Office asking questions, we're in a bad place. And why have a correspondence dinner? Just let the Matt
Well,
friend,
well, we can't stop these great American traditions because there might be a loon. I mean, or there might be like because the presidency is, however you view it, dangerous or
yeah.
whatever's going on. We can't stop this great tradition.
Well, that's true. Maybe we can.
That would be backing down, Jim. That wouldn't be right.
And we don't back down. We don't
No,
back down.
I don't believe in that. We when they go high, we or when they go low, we go high. I do think that the Democratic Party needs a fundamental shift because they just seem. I'm going to be Bill Maher, okay, right?
Yeah,
And finally, you know what the problem is with the left? They seem too lame. They do. They gotta.
that's
It
true.
needs a revamping. It really
Yeah.
does because you have these like Charlie Kirk people. There's like it just doesn't. It doesn't. It's not
Yeah,
working.
Charlie
It
Kirk,
needs
he's begging to be made fun of. And I mean, like all of these people, like Megyn Kelly and Joe Rogan, what the hell are they going to do for the next 4 years? They're just going to be like, yeah, Trump is right. He's amazing. He's so incredible. Like, I just don't know. Like, to me, I would much rather listen to a Howard Stern,
Right, right.
Right, right,
Nice of you to cue me up. Right, that was very. And let me ask you this. Right, Jim Acosta. I mean, he's a sexy guy, and I just want to know this. You've been to many interviews, right? Do celebrities
right.
contact you wanting to date you because you're a good-looking guy? I mean, who doesn't want to bang Jim Acosta, right? But
Oh,
that was
shit.
Howard. I didn't say that. Howard said it. I didn't say it.
There's been
He
a
said it.
lot of like having sex with me references in
I
this,
mean,
and I'm
Jim,
just going to
you're
say,
queuing it up. It's Substack, baby. It's a new world. Howard Bill, you've got to get mad. I mean,
this is
let's go. Come
this is
on.
like Substack and OnlyFans coming
Right,
together is
right. I
basically
mean,
what's
isn't it
happening.
kind of all the same thing? I mean,
It
really,
is kind of the same thing. It's
it.
true. It's
Yeah,
true.
no, but but it's we
And the
because the
OnlyFans
thing
is
about
coming. I didn't mention that, but that's
the
later tonight. No, I'm
correspondence
kidding.
dinner can't go away because that is a moment where the comedian roasts the president. Now, obviously, in this case, the president will not be there, but it's comedy, and if we lose comedy and stop doing that, then we really will veer into a dictatorship, and that's a problem.
Yeah, yeah. And then all we can do is stay home and watch, movies like Jurassic Park starring Jeff Goldblum. I mean,
Oh
there's
my
that.
golly! Thank you. Thank you. He's very queuing me up. Of
That
course,
was a terrible segue, but
Jeffrey Lynn Goldblum would love to appear perhaps with a Mr. Acosta live in a jazz show. Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm just like the Goldblum. It's just the greatest.
yeah, I was going to say, I think you and I have talked about this before, but let's do it on Substack. What is your favorite person to do? Because I think my favorite of yours might be Howard Stern, but I think you like Jeff Goldblum.
I
There's
do
also,
like doing Goldblum. I went on stage with him. It depends. Like Paul Giamatti is very fun. That's a very fun one. I'd like to do him. He screams. He gets loud. He gets crazy. Um, I like to do the Stern. Obviously, the Trump happens. Different actors. I like to do weird executives like Tim Cook. Good morning, Cupertino. It's great to be here. I don't know. It just depends on who I'm talking to. And now, Jim, I'm being myself. God damn it, I'm being
do
myself.
you do you?
When I'm on stage, I have this hour of stand up, and that's what I'm focused on.
No, and I will say, if Matt Friend is coming to your town, definitely go see him because you will have just a great time and
Well,
laugh
we're
as
gonna
you.
get you in the show in DC, so
I'm
that'll
going to
be
do
another
this.
incentive.
I'm going to get on stage. Should I just like emerge from
Oh yeah, no,
backstage
I'm
and just
gonna.
join the act? Is that
Jim, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reenact it. Okay, Jim, you're a terrible, nasty person. You should be ashamed of
yeah,
yourself. The Substack's a disaster, and so are you, Jim.
yeah? And
So
we'll have an intern come in and try to grab the microphone.
that's great.
We'll do something
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
great. Yeah, that's it. Let's do that. Absolutely, absolutely.
Matt, I mean, it's always an incredible pleasure to do this with you.
Jim, now you're making it sexual. What the hell's your problem? My
Oh my
God.
goodness, hello,
Isn't this
as
great? By the way,
always.
how liberating is this? Because you have this. We've hung out a few times, and I always said we've hung out. Like you've had this. You're a hilarious guy, and and in other ways of communicating, I'll put it.
Yeah,
It's tougher. And now with Substack, I really think people are going to get the full Acosta experience.
the full Acosta is that, like the full Monty. Is that what you're trying to
Can
say
I
here?
say what I
Yeah.
wanted your name of your new show to be called?
We can say it. Yes, you and I talked about this. We were going to
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah, well, I said to Jim, the world is so crazy. You need to just have a show called Fuck It with Jim Acosta. And there's like a little button, fuck it with Jim Acosta. Like, what? Honestly, who cares? Fuck it,
I know.
right? I
Fuck
mean,
it. Exactly. Fuck it.
that'll probably be by the way, this is going to catch on now, I
It
guarantee,
is
or
going to
we're
be.
screwed.
This is going to be the thing that catches on. And basically, the show is fuck it. I mean, it is kind of what I'm doing right now. It's not called fuck it. Maybe we'll. I
Well,
mean,
fantastic, because I'm not wearing any pants, Jim. Okay, I'm not wearing any
God,
pants.
please
Yeah.
don't. Oh my goodness. Wow.
No, but Jim, the news, it's unbelievable. Like every time,
I
like
know.
the Department of Education dismantling, like it's like every day
Donald Trump is
something
saying fuck
happens.
it. Why can't we say fuck it?
How about like he takes away Hunter Biden, like the security clearances for his kids? Rather, Trump taking away the Biden security clearance. It's pretty wild. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild. I mean, and it'll be interesting too. I'm just most interested in the succession plan. I mean, I've just been thinking about this topic because he was asked in an interview like a month ago, Trump,
Yeah.
would he endorse JD Vance? And then he said,
Well, we're gonna take a look at that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
so who knows? Do you have a prediction, Jim? Who would you say is the successor, assuming there is not a third Trump term?
I think it would be just poetic justice, sweet poetic justice of JD Vance. Just it does not happen for him because, I mean, this is the guy who literally said that Donald Trump may be America's Hitler, and he
Yeah, but we're
he
kind of
decided to be
past
his
that
vice
point
president.
now. We're kind of let's say it is JD Vance on the Democratic side. Who's your prediction? Because
Yeah,
I really do think it cannot. I don't think it can be a political figure right now. I mean, unless there's a
no,
2008 Barack Obama type figure, which I think is highly unlikely. I have not seen a single person with that level of charisma
no, there's nobody.
or vibe.
And that's what I think we're in the middle of right now. Not to get too serious, but like these town halls and everything, to me, is like the beginning of the next movement. People are
Town
saying,
halls. Who cares about town hall? Like it's like we got to stop all this bullshit. I mean, it's like I'm 26. No one cares about that. We want a
yeah,
funny, cool person. I want to get up on one of these debate stages just so I could do Trump too, like just to annihilate all these people. Like,
yeah,
You know what, Donald? You're a fat pig. You're a
and not be
fat
a
worried
lot of
about being
people.
sent to El Salvador.
That's true. No, yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
it's like I would love to be on a debate because remember that moment on the debate stage where or it was Marco Rubio and he was caught in like this robotic answer where he basically gave the same delivered answer like three times in a row, and then Chris Christie called him out and he said
Yes.
like you're stuck in a loop. They all are doing this,
They're all in this.
and
That's true. They're all in this
and
bullshit, going through the motions, kind of predictable
yeah,
thing.
no,
And
but
people are
like
like, fuck it. They're fuck it. They're saying
Obama
fuck
was
it.
polished, but he was cool though. Like I haven't seen anybody do that, and it might have to be somebody who's not currently like maybe like a Democratic version of a Reagan, like an actor who goes
Yeah.
political. I don't know. I
I
just feel
think
like
I think you're onto
God,
something. I think
God
it will
just
be
said he's
somebody.
running, which is hilarious. I'm not running. I'm not running. So,
No, I know
Pritzker,
there are lots
yeah.
of little messages at the bottom that tell us. I mean, people tell me I should run, and that and 25 cents won't get you a cup of coffee. But no, but I mean, what you see by and large, I think, is people who just want something different. They're like, what's happening right now ain't working.
Isn't that
Um,
funny? Isn't it funny that we have this conversation like every 4 years? They want something
yeah,
different as if anything is actually going to change.
yeah. Well, that's true. That's true. It is. It is. You're absolutely true. Which is why, and some of the messages at the bottom are saying that every Friday should be Fuck It Friday.
Fuck
Perhaps
it,
that is what we will
Friday.
do on the Jim Acosta Show. Every Friday will be Fuck It Friday,
Fuck it.
and we will just say fuck it every Friday.
Yeah, fuck it.
I mean, I do think that. Well, you asked me a serious question, and I'm trying to bend it back towards comedy.
You gotta
Um,
bend it, folks. You gotta
you
bend
gotta
it
bend
over,
it.
people.
You
You
gotta
gotta
bend it.
bend it, right? Yeah.
You got to really bend it. No, I think that I'm more hopeful for your generation than any other generation that I've ever seen before, Matt. And I think Gen Z is going to help us out here because I thought, here I am, the Gen Xer. We had Nirvana, we had Pearl Jam, we had all this crazy, revolutionary shit, grunge stuff back in the 90s. And we were all like, yes, we're going to be the generation. And then my generation has just turned out to be a sack of shit too. And I'm just like, God damn it,
But
you know?
but but you know what? By the way, am I freezing like McConnell, or am I glitching, or am I good?
There's a little bit of,
Oh God, is it a problem?
there's a little bit of,
Should I turn my
no, you're good.
Wi-Fi on? I feel like I'm
Matt, we
in
need to
Congress
upgrade your
right now.
Wi-Fi.
I
No,
feel
it's
like
a,
I'm
it's a,
Chuck Grassley myself. No, I don't know about that though. I mean, because look what happened with Gen Z in the last election cycle. I
yeah,
mean, the Kamala campaign not uh, going on podcasts. I mean, that was a
right.
fundamental mistake and a complete
Huge.
misunderstanding of the way the world works. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I'm
right.
on YouTube. Like I consume Substack. You know, this is what how I consume things. Like I'm 26. No one is watching like TV. Like even we're watching when you're watching Netflix, you're watching shit on your phone at the same time.
That's
So
right.
like
And
it's
I don't give a
yeah,
shit if you're glitching. I mean, I think the glitchy part of this is what makes it fun. So
that's true. You got to
glitch
glitch.
away,
You got to glitch.
glitch. Nobody glitches like you, Matt. Nobody
Yeah,
glitches.
no, but seriously, I just think that it's got to be totally. Whenever I see
I
like
agree with you.
Democrats now going on talk shows, like when the guy was waving his
Yeah,
cane at Trump's joint address, or
yeah,
when like they're holding up signs, like it's not gonna work.
yeah.
Like, it
You're
needs to
screaming
be
through the TV
rethought.
like, please stop. No, I know, I hear you. And everything feels like it's wrong. I mean, that's kind of where we are right now. But that's why I brought you on today, Matt. We needed some Matt Friend in our Fuck It Friday. Is
Fuck
what
it
we
Friday, Jim.
Fuck
On
It
the program,
Friday.
this is Johnny Carson here. On the program
Ooh,
this Friday is a wonderful news personality. You know him from world famous celebrity Jim Acosta, the new host of Fuck It Friday. Jim, come on out, please. Fuck It Friday. Okay.
weird, wild stuff.
Weird
No,
wild stuff. Yeah, that's a
that's
relevant
something for the
impression.
boomers there. Well done. You know,
Yeah, literally,
this just shows you Matt Friend's
literally.
range when he's out there performing. Yes, boomers, you can come to the show. He will do an occasional impersonation that appeals to your generation.
It's on my Instagram at the Matt Friend and my website, mattfriend.com. So get tickets to DC and San Diego, everybody. It's going to be sick. Acosta's going to come to DC. We're going to do a live on stage bit, and it's going to go viral.
We're going to melt some faces. The
Oh, yeah.
great Matt Friend, thank you for making Fuck It Friday. I think this is the inaugural edition of Fuck It Friday.
Fuck
And
it.
the number of times I've said fuck on this show today,
But
does the
Jim,
FCC regulate this shit? I hope not. For Christ's
guess
sake, I'm
what?
in trouble.
That is the world now. It's crazy, but it's
It's
so
true.
true. I mean,
It is
it's
true.
like,
Do they
it's
do this on
done.
Smart List? Do they say fuck a lot on Smart
They
List?
say whatever you want on
Oh, okay.
Smart.
All right. Okay. That's good.
Fuck it. This is Will Arnett, and I'm here with Jim Acosta, and he's a great guy. No, but again, I want to conclude by saying you're a fantastic guy. Your fans I don't think personally know you, but guys, he's one of the great ones. He's fantastic, and I hope this show keeps growing. I
Yeah.
really do. And
I
follow
think
Jim on Instagram, and that's what you should do too.
all the places. Matt, great to see you, my friend.
Great to see you. Thanks, Jim.
All right. Love you, buddy. All right.
You too.
We'll,
Love you.
we'll, we'll do
Adios.
this soon. I know. We don't want to hang up. We're like two teenagers who don't want to hang up. You hang up first. No, I'll hang up
Hey,
first. No,
you
wait.
hang up. Wait, actually, we got to hurry this up because I'm going on Steve Bannon's podcast next. Okay,
Oh, way to
adios.
go. Way to go in the war room. Thank you, Gavin Newsom. All right. See you later, buddy.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I guess, that was Matt, the great Matt Friend. We all love Matt Friend. He's amazing. I knew when I booked Matt Friend that this would go completely off the rails, and it totally went completely off the rails. My Our only hope at this point, somebody says in 2025, use fuck like a comma. Yes, that's what we've done now. I'm hoping and praying. My mom has been asking me, how do I watch your show? How do I watch your show? How do I do this Substack thing? How do I get on YouTube? How do I do this? And now I'm never going to explain to my mom how to watch this program because of the number of times I've used the F word today. But I hope all of you will forgive me. I was just letting off some steam on this F It Friday. Thanks to all of you for watching this week. My thanks to Congressman Joaquin Castro of the great state of Texas, who was very humble during that interview. I hope everybody noticed that at the end when I brought it back to him. I was talking about background, he was subtly saying that he didn't want to go there. But I'm very appreciative of Joaquin Castro for coming on, and also, of course, sending out lots of love and hearts to my brother from another mother, Matt Friend, who is a juvenile delinquent and brings out the juvenile delinquent in me, which is unfortunate, probably. But anyway, everybody, thanks again for watching this week. Still reporting from Washington, I'm Duke's dad, Jim Acosta. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye bye.